In this video, as promised, I'm going to show you how to finish off the tail thread at the bead fastener end of your bracelet and reinforce the bead fastener end. We've been up and down the bead fastener twice, and to give it the reinforcement it needs and the strength it needs, we need to do that one more time. So the last pass was to bring the thread down from the stopper bead through the fastener bead down to the bottom of the arm of the bead. So now what we're going to do is find the first loop we made and pass the needle and the thread all the way through all the beads. You might be able to see that this first loop is actually a little bit loose, but by going round it a second time, we'll be able to pull that loose loop tight. So we've been through all the beads of the first loop, the 7 loop beads, and we're going to tie a half hitch knot where we pick up the first thread, make a loop and pass the needle through the loop. Then we're going to go into the spine of the bead where the first thread came out. And we're going to go down all 7 of the spine beads. And here you should see the loop has gone tight. Next, we're going to reinforce the fastener bead end. So just as you did when you made the fastener bead end, you pass through all the 3 little beads of the arm that extends the bead and the bead itself. Then you go through the little stopper bead at the top and go all the way back down. And this is when you're going to find that your needle and thread get very tight in the beads. Because you're only going through these tiny little beads and there's not a great deal of room in them. So now we do another half hitch knot, pass back up the loop, and you'll be able to see it's not so loose anymore. And then see if we can spot any loose loops that need tightening. That's quite loose. So what we'll do is we'll go back into the spine again where the thread came through, and go to the top of the loop that we think is quite loose. So go to the top of that loose loop and travel down it towards the bead fastening end. And here we're going to put our last half hitch knot. And then you can travel up the spine four or five beads, and just like with finishing the thread in the previous video, we cut the thread close to the beads and that's it, done. So in the next video I'll be showing you how to start a new thread. And to start your new thread, you'll have to thread onto your needle about 1.5 meters of thread again. Now, if you found 1.5 meters or the amount of thread you put on your needle a little bit difficult to handle in the first part of the bracelet, then cut a shorter length this time. And of course, if you found it quite comfortable to deal with such a large amount of thread, then just keep the same amount. So, see you in the next video.